Hey guys, Clay here at HavocOffroad. We've got ICI's Magnum RT steps for your Jeep JK, and I'm going to show you how to install these on your Jeep. So let's get started. You're going to need a 4mm Allen. You're going to need a couple of sockets. I've got a 13mm, a 10mm, and then some various extensions, and then a 13mm wrench if I need it, but minimal tools. I just want to explain what the hardware does. These are the brackets that are going to bolt to the body of your Jeep. This part of the bracket is going to be held on to the actual pinch weld in the Jeep, and then there are these three that are going to go up from the bottom of this bracket and go into a nut that's welded to the body of the Jeep from the factory for the factory steps and running boards. So with these brackets, our instructions were completely wrong. So what we found is that you've got three sizes, a small, medium, and a large. The large bracket, now if you can imagine this, we're on the passenger side of the Jeep, so the large bracket is in the middle. You've got the smallest or shortest bracket on this side, which is pretty easy to identify. You can just flip it on there. It goes to the rear tire. And then the medium-sized bracket, same thing, flip it over, check it out. That goes to the front. This is the shortest one, so this is going to go to the rear of the vehicle. Bracket is going to go on like so, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this hardware in right on the bottom to hold it into the factory threaded insert in the Jeep. And then I'm going to grab two of the Allen button head. You'll get another washer and your lock washer. And we'll put the nut on. And we'll do the same thing on the other side of the bracket. Now all this hardware has oblong slots in it, and it's really for variations in the Jeep. You can see there's an adjustment here for the board, or for the side step once we get it on. So once everything's even hand tight, it kind of fits tight. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten up this bracket. Before I tighten these up all the way, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up this center bolt with a 13mm to the chassis. The instructions call for 30 foot-pound of torque. Now I have a magic arm that is a torque arm, and I can tell exactly where 30 foot-pounds of torque is by hand. So if you guys are questioning that and you're afraid you're going to over tighten it or you're going to under tighten it, go ahead and get your torque wrench out or ask a buddy to borrow one and get it down to 30 foot-pounds of torque. Now we'll go ahead and put our middle bracket on, same way we did that bracket. And I misspoke earlier, it's actually 20 foot-pound of torque, so I may need to loosen that one in the back because the magic arm might have over-torqued it. Now I'm just getting these loosely tightened, not torqued down yet, because I don't want to put extra strain on the outside of this pinch weld until we get this center bolt torqued. Now we'll move to the front bracket. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and attach the step to the brackets. You can see you've got oblong holes both ways, so it gives you some room for adjustment. We're gonna feed the bolt with a washer. Just kind of fish it in, get it through, and it should hold itself. Then you're gonna go ahead, install another washer. And then the lock washer. And then the nut. You got 2 of these and 3 brackets, so you're gonna need to do this 6 times. And once you get everything tightened up or snug, then that way you can make adjustments depending on how close you want it to the body, or if you want to lower it down a little bit, you can. But we'll get to that after we go ahead and get all of this hardware installed. Right, now I've got a buddy holding up the back, but you can do this a little bit of time by yourself. Just makes it easier with a friend. I want it adjusted about there, so I'm going to hold it up with my hand. I have a wrench on the back of the nut. Really, once you get one tight. Now I had a buddy holding up the back, so once I got the front tight and it holds itself up, I'll come back and we'll tighten this one up, relieve him. It gets kind of old holding this stuff up with your shoulders. Same thing, just get the wrench back there, get it on top of the bolt. And once you get the other side snug, it'll hold itself. And now we're gonna go back and tighten up all of this remaining hardware on the bottom 2, front and back, and then the middle bracket. Now on this bottom bolt, it's kind of hard to get the box in around the head of the bolt. So I'm just getting the open end in there. You can kind of feel it with your finger. As soon as the nut on the lock washer starts to grab, the wrench really doesn't do anything, and then you can tighten it up. It's really a lot easier than it looks. All right, now I was just joking before. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the torque wrench and we'll make sure we torque all this to the specs that are provided in the instructions. Well, there you go, guys. That install is pretty headache-free. We did it on a lift. You do not need a lift. You don't need jack stands, minimal tools, maybe a friend's help to adjust the step when you get done. There you go. It looks pretty good. Relatively easy install. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call or visit us at HavocOffroad.com.